her words.
Yep.
And so, like I said, she is vulnerable. She can be defeated. And we will defeat her in November. And Senator DeMint told me about 2 years ago, I said to him, Senator, what can we do to help you? And he said, you can bring me more conservatives to Washington. It gets pretty lonely up here. Yeah. And so that's exactly what we did last election cycle with Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, Senator Mike Lee, Pat Toomey, Marco Rubio. There's a good number of conservatives in the United States Senate, but yet it's still the good old boy club, and we need to change that. Yep. So Tea Party Express has been proud to endorse Sarah Steelman here in Missouri because we believe that she is the one that can go up and defeat Claire McCaskill. We absolutely believe she is a conservative. She's run statewide races before, and we believe she is the one. And that's why we've gotten behind her, because she has that fighter, that maverick spirit. She's willing to take on the establishment, the Republican Party, because she's done it before. And we are proud to support her here. And that's why we're coming through Missouri. And listen, you guys, I mean, I want you all to go out and support your candidates. Work hard, because they can't do it without our help. But Tea Party Express will be working with Sarah Steelman because we do believe she's the one. And I want to bring her up now. Former State Treasurer Sarah Steelman.
Right, Sarah.
And I am so glad she's here with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. And thanks for all that you do for your country, because you're making a big difference. And thank you all for coming out today, because you guys are going to make a difference in 2012. You're going to make the difference, and you're going to send Claire McCaskill and President Obama out of Washington and back where they belong, right? Right. Okay, so my name's Sarah Steelman, and I'm from Rolla, Missouri, and I'm running for United States Senate, and I can't wait to get up there and start fighting to put your interests first instead of what they're doing right now. But let me start off by asking y'all a couple questions. How many of you all today are better off than your parents or your grandparents? Raise your hand. Okay, there's a few. There's a few. How many of you all think today that your kids are going to be better off than you are today? Nobody. Very few people raise their hand at that anymore all across Missouri. And we've got to get this country headed in a different direction, because we're on the edge. We're on the precipice, about to go over. And that's why I'm running, because I want to make that difference. Now, you know, when my parents were just kids, back in 1931, think about this. The Empire State Building was built by private enterprise, and it cost them $5 million. They did it in 18 months, and they came in 1 month ahead of schedule. You know what? Today it would take 5 years. Probably, just to get through all the permits and the regulations that you needed, if you could even build a building like that today. So what is it that has changed? Well, you know what? It's not you. It is not the American people. The American people still have that can-do spirit that made us that shining city upon the hill that Ronald Reagan talks about. It is government that has changed. It's government that stifles our ingenuity. It taxes our wealth. It overregulates our economy. It restricts our rights, and frankly, they're more concerned about the fat content in your food than whether we're going to have enough oil production to run our cars and our factories.
Yeah.
Now, Claire McCaskill and President Obama think they know better than the rest of us, don't they? They think that government makes better decisions about your life than you do. Whether it's your child's education, whether it's your health care with Obamacare, whether it's your business, whether it's your property rights, you know, whether it's your farm, whatever it is, they think they know better, and they think government makes better decisions than you do. Well, I don't, and I bet neither do you, right? Right. Folks, we got to get this thing turned around, and we can do that. You know, I could go down the long list of things that Claire McCaskill and Obama and their policies have done to this country. Starting with the fact that it's been 3 years since they even passed a budget in the United States Senate. How irresponsible is that? Do you know, when I added up the salaries at that 1,000-day mark that they hadn't passed any kind of budget, the salaries of all the senators for those 1,000 days added up to $47 million. I say we cut the salaries. That's a good start. We have a national debt of $16 trillion, the same size as our total economy. And we're headed down the same path as Greece, and yet nobody in Washington does anything about it. They just sit there and let it happen to us. Well, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do something about that. Claire McCaskill has voted for everything that President Obama has put before her, whether it's Obamacare, whether it's fiscal stimulus, whether it's the bailout, whether it's another debt increase. No matter what it is, she's there for him, and we've got to get that different. We're going to make that different. She's going to be on that plane of hers back to Missouri. Or wherever. Okay. So where? Well, maybe the Cayman Islands. Yeah.
Kenya.
But here's the thing. You know, I get tired of people talking who are running for office and never have solutions. And you know, we all can talk about the problems, but there are solutions to this. And actually, I've been very active in my campaign about putting those forward. And you can find them on my website at sarahsteelman.com. But I have a framework for national security. I have an energy plan. I have my 60 days, first 60 days in office, the solutions that I'm going to work as hard as I can for. In fact, I did a balance the budget in 5 years. I did a little scenario, which you can find, again, in my campaign information. I'm out there telling people what we're going to do. And you know, let me just briefly say a few things about what we need to do. And I know you all know this. We know that we have to quit spending money we do not have. And how do you do that? You do that with a balanced budget amendment, and you cap the size of government. And we know that we've got to scrap the current tax code that we have today and put in place a new tax code that's fairer and flatter and simpler. We need a moratorium on all rules and regulations that are choking off businesses in this country. We need to repeal Obamacare. And you know what else we need to do? We need to change the Washington culture. Because I tell you what, if that culture doesn't change, we're going to keep getting the same outcome no matter who we send. And what do we have to do that? Here's what I'm proposing. I'm proposing that we eliminate congressional pensions. That'll term limit them faster than anything that we could do. Congress needs to be back in the same boat with the rest of us. And right now they're not. They're disconnected. They don't balance. They exempt themselves from certain laws that you have to follow. I mean, can you believe that? That's got to change. And I will fight as hard as I can. You go to Jeff City. This was the first time I got elected to the state senate. He said, on the first hard vote, be sure and stand up and fight for what you believe in. Because here's what will happen to you. There'll be a group of people that come to you. And they're going to say, hey, Sarah, you got to be with us on this one. You know, this one you got to be with us so you can live to fight another day, another battle. And you know what? Those people will come to you time and time again. And who are they? They're the lobbyists. They're the big contributors. They're special interests. They're members of your own party. And time again, they'll say, hey, you got to be with us this time so you can live to fight another day, another battle. And then one day, you wake up. And you realize that all those battles you went to fight have passed you by because you didn't stand up and fight for what you believe in when you could.